Superheroes. Nobody likes them. As I'm sure many of you have noticed, there's a little thing going around known as superhero fatigue. To put it simply, too many bad superhero movies have been coming out. People have gotten sick of being forced to watch a bad movie because it's part of some big universe, and now the only successful comic book media is either actually good ones or indie shows. So, what's the solution? Minors. It's no secret that I was a weird kid with a weird imagination. It's also no secret that I get really obsessed with media, and as a kid, I was obsessed with the MCU. The thought of some big connected universe of all these cool characters leading into the next movie, it blew my dumb little second grade mind. And as all little unintended kids do, I went wild with my own imagination. So today I thought I'd tell you all a story of my weird, dumb, stupidly overcomplicated, surprisingly gruesome superhero universe I made as a 7-year-old. So, let's set the scene. It was a bright and sunny day in my elementary school, and I was wandering the playground looking for something to do. That's when I heard out of the corner of my ear a group of kids playing some weird game. They essentially pretended like they were making a TV show. They called it something like Jurassic Fails or something. I don't really know. It was really weird. And for some reason, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. The thought in my brain that I could create movies and TV shows without actually creating them on the playground, it blew my mind. Combine that with an obsession of the MCU and complicated universes, and I began to develop ideas for my very own superhero universe. Told you I was a weird kid. So today, we'll go over the full story of how I made it, the phases it went through, and the full story recap of the universe. Strap in and grab some melatonin. So after that initial thought in my brain, I began playing my own game where I'd pretend I was making a superhero movie every time I went to recess. I'll skip over the contents for now as we'll get to the story recap later, but know that I did this for 2 years straight. I forced all my friends to play this stupid-ass game with me, and I got so obsessed that when the story came to an end, I literally restarted it and kept going, which we'll get to later. But since I had developed friends outside of school at that point in my neighborhood cul-de-sac, I started playing superheroes with them. And let's ask one of these friends what they thought of playing with me. Zoe?
Yeah, you were literally so annoying that my mom picked up on it and she pretended that your dad texted you to go home.
Oh. Yeah, it was pretty fucking annoying as a kid. Anyways, in 4th and 5th grade, I'd become more mature than playing pretend, and my school had something pretty weird called Husky Hideout. Essentially, it was an after-school daycare that allowed parents to come and pick up their kids an hour after school was over, so they had extra time to not want to kill themselves over bad life decisions they made as horny teenagers. We played games and drew and even got Oreos and chocolate milk, hell yeah, and since Zoe was the only person I knew in Husky Hideout, I would hang out with her and her friends. They formed this comic group called Random Comics, which I participated in, so I made comics in my superhero universe. Unfortunately, I can't draw, as you can tell, so it looked like shit. Now that everything I tried using to finish the story wasn't working, I finished it at home in my mind, and I've held on to it ever since. So now I think it's high time we begin explaining from start to finish my weird-ass universe, which I will be calling Slept Up Kid Universe, or SKU, for the rest of the video. It starts off with our very first hero. I first made him while at my grandma's house when I was probably a 1st grader, and I drew him badly on a piece of paper and used him again in 2nd grade for this whole universe thing. He's basically the Iron Man or Batman of the whole universe, the main one. Pixelator. Yeah, I know it was a dumb kid. However, I actually think his concept was pretty cool for something I made while I was still watching Gacha Life videos. We don't talk about that. Essentially, he could create any weapon out of pixels. An idea I probably got from that 2015 Adam Sandler movie that I was obsessed with. However, since that would be the most overpowered thing ever, there's 2 exceptions. 1, if it's a weapon that doesn't exist, he has to make it by hand, and 2, the more powerful the weapon, the more it takes out of him. For example, if he makes a nuclear bomb or something, he'll probably pass out. So, this first movie in the cinematic universe I thought of was Pixelator, his origin movie. He was originally just some guy who worked at a science facility. That was until he explored the basement after hours and found this floating pixel thing. It's sentient and lives inside of him, giving him the powers. Think of it like the Venom symbiote. If it was like really, really weird and like pixelated. Yeah. Anyway, since this isn't an actual movie, I don't remember most of the plot details. All I remember is that he faced off against his main villain, the Glitch. His powers are kind of self-explanatory. He can make stuff glitch. I know. How original. Now it's time for the second film in this series, which introduces the team. Now, as you'll see, I basically just ripped off the MCU in nearly every way, so I need my version of the Avengers, but what would I call the name? Well, brace yourselves. The Gamers. I think now would be a good time to mention I was the type of kid who had that zip-up Minecraft hoodie and would go around the playground T-posing. Now, in this team, there were 4 members. Pixelator, obviously. Gadget, the Iron Man type of the group since he had no powers and made gadgets. He was also best friends with Pixelator. The Human Treasure, her only power is healing. And Cheetah, literally 100% ripped off from DC. Now, the movie starts with them being separated from each other, and they knew each other as kids. How did they drift apart? Well, one day, they were children. They were hanging out when suddenly, a suicide bomber came and exploded, separating them for the next 20 years. How did it separate them? Why did I know what a suicide bomber was as an 8-year-old? These are questions you should stop asking because they won't be answered. Anyways, when a new villain, Game Over, how original, comes to Earth and starts an alien invasion, they must reunite. So it's just Avengers. A guy who works for a secret agency forms a team of superheroes to stop an alien invasion. Yeah, that's literally the plot of Avengers. So yeah, they team up again and begin fighting the invasion. However, Game Over hired all of the criminals in the world to fight for him. I know, very realistic. So Pixelator told the team to spare the criminals since killing is wrong. Now, brutally murdering an army of aliens, that's completely okay. But Cheetah, she accidentally kills one of them, and she has an eye-opening moment where she realizes that she likes murder. So she proceeds to ruthlessly murder all of the criminals, attacking the rest of them and working for Game Over, becoming a villain. So now there's zero difference between Cheetah and the DC one. Anyways, with the power of pixels, they defeat Game Over by killing him and the rest of the army. Cheetah escapes and goes into hiding, and this was the first Gamers movie out of the series. I was a fucked up kid, and without any warning to slow it down, the next movie to the sequel is The Gamers 2. I remember that had a subtitle, I just forgot it, so now it's just The Gamers 2. And to start off this movie, we get introduced to a new character, Black Hole. This character was made by my friend in art class, where we had to draw a superhero, and I asked him if I could use it, because it was actually a pretty cool concept. To sum the character up, it's basically a robot with the powers of a black hole. It can make black holes and absorb dark matter energy. This character lands on Earth and spreads the warning to the 3 remaining members of the Gamers that... God, I'm never going to get over that name. That there is a robot invasion coming to Earth. So it's literally just Age of Ultron. In fact, the villain is just Ultron. There's literally no difference. It's just Ultron. Anyways, in the movie, Black Hole joins the Gamers and uses his powers to help defeat the robot invasion. Cool. Now we have the third movie in the SKU, the Black Hole Origin movie, and it's basically kind of just Captain Marvel. He was made on a spaceship by an evil scientist, but gained sentience and escaped to Earth. I know that plot doesn't generally sound like Captain Marvel, but like the way I imagined it was basically just kind of Captain Marvel. So yeah, it ends right when the Gamers 2 starts. I know. Continuity, how cool! Yeah, I know. I mean, thank you. I'll be here all night. I mean, I know. I'm so cool. I didn't say that. Shut up. Dude, can you let my family go? Anyways, now it's time for Pixelator 2. This is where he finally defeats the Glitch, killing him brutally because the Glitch killed his girlfriend. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, that's right. I know what you might be thinking. Wait a second, he has a girlfriend? Yes. I added her in for literally no reason at random, so he had a reason to kill the Glitch. So now it's time for The Gamers 3, which introduces the final main villain for the series, Ultra King. The most original villain name and concept ever. He definitely isn't an exact copy of Thanos. Why would you ever think that? So this is the Infinity War of the franchise, where Earth is in grave danger from Ultra King, and the Gamers must team up again to fight him. However, with the help of Cheetah, they don't succeed, and Ultra Kill makes half of all of them disappear. I got inspiration for this idea from my disappearing sanity. Anyways, we now get to the darkest and most important movie in the franchise, The Gamers 4. With half of all of them disappeared, only Pixelator, Black Hole, and Human Treasure are left. They team up one last time to fight the army of aliens made by Ultra King, this army ends up killing the human charger. Jesus Christ. Enraged by the death of all of his friends, Pixelator does the last resort. You know how I said earlier that the more powerful the weapon, the more it takes out of him? Well, in an endgame Iron Man type sacrifice, he makes a weapon so powerful that it destroys the universe and subsequently resets it, killing him and Ultrakill in the process. With the reset universe, Gadget, Black Hole, and Human Charger all survive, but don't remember him. So now we get to the post-Gamer 4 spot in the SKU, where we get to the first and only TV show in the whole franchise. You see, by this point, I started playing superheroes with the kids in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, half of us wanted to play superheroes, and half of us wanted to play pirates. So we combined them. Essentially, in this story, Pixelator is depressed now that he has nothing left, so he joins a crew of superhero pirate things and sails the seas, fighting the leftover aliens. I kind of dropped the whole stronger weapon thingy because I was annoying as a kid and I wanted to be more powerful than everyone else. I'm sure Zoe can tell you more about that. So now we've gone to the very last movie in the SKU. You see, while I was doing this whole superhero thingy, Zoe was also getting into it and began making comics of her own. Her superhero character was named Azzy, and she was a part of the Pirates. So the final movie in the SKU is actually a crossover between Pixelator and Azzy, where the two characters team up to fight Azzy's main rival, Dr. Green. Now you might be wondering, oh my god, fine, I'll let your family go. Thank you. So how does this thing end? Well, brace yourself. There is no ending. Yeah, I grew out of the superhero thing and never thought of an ending, so, here, let's see. Everybody dies. Well, that about rounds out the story. It was a weird phase I had as a kid that goes to show just how weird I was as a kid. So, thank you all for watching, and I think that this will single-handedly save the superhero industry. Now, let's round things out with a very cool backflip. Watch me do this backflip, guys. Brace yourselves, everybody. All right, keep your hats on. Get ready for this. All right, here we go. Woo! Wow, I'm literally the Pixelator, guys. I'm literally the Pixelator. Moral of the story, exploit minors! Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry that I took another bit of a break. I meant to make this only a week after the last video, but, you know, stuff always likes to get in the way. And by stuff getting in the way, I mean an entire new house. Yeah, I moved. I unfortunately lost the closet space that I used to have, so now I have to record this in this closet, which is bigger. So tell me if you guys hear any echoing. Also tell me if you liked the new sort of comedy style. I didn't change it too much, but you know. Also, I will be using Dlepsep more now that he has a second channel of his own, and I want to make him into a cool little character. And I might actually make a design for him that isn't just me inverting the colors in the photo editor. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This was a weird, lengthy, year-long process of stuff that I made as a kid. And I could have gone way deeper, but thank God I didn't for the editing version of me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll try and have the next video out sooner than, like, a month. Bye. I don't know. I don't know what that was. All right, bye. Backflip.